Hey! Welcome to Whale's Tales. My name is Greg, and in this video, I'm going to be going over the Air Superiority Challenge in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. In order to complete this challenge, you've got to destroy 10 ground-based score streaks with aerial score streaks. And if you can play the game modes Drop Zone or Mayhem, you're going to be in business. Those are the best two game modes for this, but of course those are on the rotating schedule. So you can also get this done in other game modes. Probably best to be in like an objective-based game mode. You're just always going to have to be thinking about it and ready to go should the opportunity arise. So yeah, the 4 score streaks that you can take out in order to make progress toward this challenge are the Scarab, which is probably the least likely to be predictable enough to focus on, the Vulture, the Shock Sentry, which is going to be the easiest and the best thing to go for, and then also the RC-8. Those are the 4 things you can take out. And your best options as far as score streaks to use, those are going to be the Apex and the Thor. Those are your best 2 options. The Bombardment is pretty good as well, and the Scorchers aren't bad. They're kind of hit or miss. And then finally there's the Trinity Rocket, which is definitely the least good option. It's not very powerful against ground-based score streaks for whatever reason, especially against like the Shock Sentry and the RC-8, which are really the only realistic things you can kind of aim at with a Trinity Rocket. And I'll show you a little bit about that a little bit later. But anyway, okay. So let's talk about strategy. So first recommendation is just save your score streaks. If you earn them either from a care package or just regularly, and you never know what score streak the enemy is going to call in throughout the rest of the game, and that's why I just save them, and that way you're always ready to go should your opportunity coming around. If you are going to be using the Scorchers, you're definitely going to want to weaken the streak that you're targeting first, assuming that it's a Shock Sentry or an RC-8. Oh, and by the way, if you get a chance to get into one of these Apex battles, I highly recommend doing so. They're a lot of fun, and they're a great way to make progress toward the air-to-air challenge, which is a very similar challenge to this that I just posted a video on a few days prior to this one. But yeah, if possible, if you're going to use these Scorchers, you're going to want to weaken the Shock Sentry or the RC-8 before targeting them. And then with the Bombardment, you're also probably going to want to try to weaken the RC-8 a little bit first, although you technically don't have to, but it's a good idea. So yeah, and let's see, this is my last in-game clip. This is taking out a Vulture with the Scorchers, which will definitely work and definitely count toward progress toward the challenge. But let's get into some private match testing. So we're going to start off with the Trinity Rocket versus the Vulture. Now it takes it out just fine. The only problem is it's impossible to see the Vulture until you get pretty close to the ground already. So that can make it pretty tricky in an actual in-game situation. I mean, I knew where my buddy was going to call that in, so I had it easy. But in a real game situation, that might not be so plausible. Now, this is the Trinity Rocket versus a Shock Sentry. That's a fresh Shock Sentry there, and you'll see it's not good enough. It's just really not. You're gonna have to weaken the Shock Sentry quite a bit first, and it's hard to know exactly how much. You want to accidentally take it out before calling your Trinity Rocket in at all. So that's why I don't really recommend the Trinity Rocket. It's just not strong enough. On the other hand, the Scorchers are definitely strong enough to take out a fresh Shock Sentry. That was a fresh one. But you have to hit all 3 of your Scorchers. If you miss one of them, which can be a little bit, tricky to predict, then it won't take out a Shock Sentry. But a Bombardment is no problem. That's easy enough to just put all 3 of your Bombardment shots on the Shock Sentry. I actually don't even think you need all 3 of them, but it's easy enough to just put all 3 of them on there and take that out. But yeah, like I was saying, with the Scorchers, you're going to want to weaken the Shock Sentry a little bit first because it can be easy enough to miss one of those Scorchers. So there's the Trinity Rocket versus the RC-8. Terrible idea. Definitely don't recommend it. I mean, if you happen to have a really weak RC-8, fine. But other than that, it's not going to work out. Here are some Scorchers versus the RC-8 as well. You'll see they don't take it out, a fresh RC-8. But I had a clip earlier where I had some in-game footage of me killing an RC-8 with the Scorchers, but I'm sure that RC-8 was a little bit weakened first. I know there was like a friendly Apex nearby it, so I'm assuming they probably shot at each other a little bit first, and that's why I was able to get that done so easily. But there we go. We had the Bombardment versus the RC-8. If you get all 3 of your Bombardment shots on the RC-8, it will take it out. And in this clip, I'm going to show you what happens if you only put 2 on target. it actually is not strong enough to take out the RC-8. I am going to get a kill here. That's against my buddy who's standing over there near it. But as you can see, the RC-8 is still alive. So in that situation, what you want to do is make sure you get right up close and just start wailing on that thing with your fists. Make sure you punch the RC-8. It's the best way to take one out. Although it won't make you any progress toward this challenge, so just kidding. Anyway, we got one final thing here. We're going to look at the Thor, and you'll see this is really easy. Just, I mean, fairly intuitive, right? Just takes a few rockets in the free fire mode. You can actually speed the Thor up if you're not pleased with how slowly it's moving around the map. I'm not doing that here, but you can do that just in case you weren't aware. And one final thing is the Thor versus the RC-8. Very straightforward, just I think 4 rockets, and it's dead. Boom, there it is, terminated. Cool, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys later.